Seeing as how I've got most of the instructional manual tips, rinsing and that sort of thing done, I thought I'd stop and do borderline review / my impressions now that it's in my hands, now that I've filled it, now that I've swapped out the pump, what I think for my outdoors adventures the Wooter will do. And so I've got a couple examples, there are two almost identical examples of things I simply won't have to take with me now. The furthest one, our lovely pink jug, is a 5-gallon, just regular, go to the grocery store and fill with water, or tap water if you like. And I bought, it's a rechargeable USB pump topper with a silicone lead, and you hit the button and it dispenses water. It is not fast. It will fill your cup, it will fill your pot, and when you've used up your 5 gallons, you either go to a spigot or you go to the store. The other thing is one that was left for too long before I cleaned it, so I hacked it up, and I've got some shower hoses. This handle is so I can put some PVC pipe in and make a riser for our 2-room shower tent. It's got a rechargeable pump. My watch gets hung up in here. Again, this is another USB rechargeable device with a power brick with most types of chargers. This is a pretty easy thing to keep charged. This lasted a week and a half. 2 of us, showers probably every other day. Again, they're 2 5-minute showers. I've got a black panel in here so it gets some solar gain. I have a USB or a Bluetooth pool sensor that tells me when this is 105 or 110 Fahrenheit. It's nice to have warm shower. And so I had 2 purposes here: drinking, potable, cooking, hand washing, toothbrushing water with the world's 2nd tiniest pump. And then I had a shower system that I drug down into the sun and got water hot, and had a USB rechargeable pump that was enough with a shower head. It was not going to blast mud off at a distance, but it worked for a shower. That's good. I'm not going to use it anymore. So an example of what I no longer need to take are these things that ended up in the back of my FJ or back of the Rivian, and they're now totally supplanted by the Wooter in a space that may have had blankets or pillows or cold weather jackets if my camping spot got chilly, that would have been under the deck. I don't see a reason for the deck. I don't imagine I'll remove the Wooter for anything I found a need for since I got my S in December. You saw how much storage I could put on top of it. Camp chairs, it could be groceries, it could be my camping bins, any number of things. We got our little mesh pocket here for our fill drain hoses. The battery fits here nicely. I do greatly prefer the C-Flow pump. It's not quite a 2x improvement. The noise difference doesn't bother me. The little 90 barb that was sitting here on the old bulkhead, I think, was probably more delicate to setting something on accidentally than this. That's pretty sturdy. I could buy a little cap to lose the hose. I've gotten a slightly longer straight hose that I do like the free spin here. They're not expensive on Amazon, so experiment with how much reach you're going to want. I've now filled and drained 2 and 3 and 4 times for different parts. I see so little problem. It's very direct. It just takes seconds to have 2.5 times. 2.5 times of that. And you can go to a spigoted campsite and refill it. The handles, I think, will work good for 2 people carrying it. I wouldn't want to do it myself. You could drive your Rivian around and fill up, park next to the freshwater source. I see this empty still allows support for useful things. I don't find any loss there. if you were in a part of the country with flood or fire or other complicated environmental disasters that lots of parts of the country have, keep this ready. If you need to roll out in just 5 minutes, probably can fill it up with fresh water, or maybe you stop on the way once you're at a safe place at a gas station and you now have 12 gallons of fresh drinkable water. The pumps don't have lubricants that taint the water. The hoses are all household materials without, to my awareness, any leaching problems. The rotomolded material is designed expressly for this purpose. It's not a halfway sort of fresh water. It's whatever you choose to put in it, as fresh as that is. If you were on a long road trip, you can rinse off. If you're boondocking, you can clean your hair, wash your feet, brush your teeth, cook pasta, all those sorts of things. If it's an emergency situation, you have a safety measure that you have with you, whether you're stopped and can't go further, whether you're in a traffic jam. I'm not saying step out on the freeway and tap on your wooter, but those situations seem to be becoming more frequent in many people's lives. I, so far a weekend, don't see a reason to pick this up and remove it, short of another video that needs to be reshot for clarity purposes. Got places to keep your necessary accessories. I think I'm going to add a 12 volt, maybe direct port, so that if the battery dies, I can use that directly from the Rivian 12 volt. It solves a space that's hard to use for a good purpose. It's flexibility for a lot of different situations, not just recreation. And I'm just so pleased with the design input between Gene and I, and the product and the finish and his packaging and his thoughtfulness. Mounting the pump wasn't a 2-minute job, but it was not difficult. It did not require advanced metalworking, sheet folding, anything short of an Allen wrench. It's designed and purposeful to be pretty simple in the needs to handle it. If your C-flow pump dies, you can shop on Amazon. A guy on the forums already stated what their price is. I haven't tested, but I think even these, if you lost your Delrin caps, there's a number of caps with these threads that could serve a purpose by putting a gasket in it and drilling a vent hole. And you could duplicate this with materials available in most hardware stores that have ABS and threaded pipe things. You've got a lot of hose choices, the coiled or not. I didn't know beforehand personally, that pulling against the coil to me feels like I'm creating torsion there. It's probably sturdy enough that would never be a problem, but I do like simple, matte. It feels nice. It's not prone to kinking. It's got a free spin here at the sprayer end. These again are a standard kitchen shower type. You could put your kitchen sprayer on this if you like the action of your kitchen sprayer. You can put a full shower head there with multiple modes. It's really become, after I've shot the videos and learned a couple lessons about what to do wrong, when I gotta fill it, it's just simple. When I'm gonna plug things in and turn it on, it's just simple, especially the on-demand C-flow. I'll do a video where I go highlight some other things about the stock pump, but it won't stay at this point. It will be the C-flow from here on out. I spoke of almost standing on it. I sense more deflection in the front wall, which isn't a rotomold hollow structured piece like the Wooter. The front has more flexibility in it than the Wooter itself. I'm theorizing come sunny weather again, when I did some temperature measurements in the frunk, this may well be moderately warm water depending on how you park. It's hard to know until you're at a particular elevation or a particular angle on the sun. But parked was when the frunk temperature seemed to go up. If it's parked in the sun, the frunk sometimes had 15 to 20 degrees over ambient. So if it's 75, comfortable outside, late afternoon, you've parked your Rivian, hood in the sun, the water might be 90 degree water. That would feel pretty nice. I'm looking forward, I'm in Oregon, so it's rainy this week. Maybe a couple more weekend excursions if I can pick the weather right. But this is definitely part of a change in packing, like getting an EV. I don't take butane fuel for my cook stoves. I have an electric tea kettle. I have, not induction, but a little 3-measure electric saucepan that solves most of my cooking needs. I don't need 5 rechargeable batteries for laptops. I don't need 2 5-gallon grocery store jugs of water anymore. I know there's jerry can options, I know there's some rooftop options, and there's some measure of cost versus benefit. I don't want a roof rack on my S. I don't want a swing hitch bumper with 3 jerry cans on it on my S. I'm not using this space until the router is sitting here, and it does everything I want in that space. I didn't know I could make the space do that, is probably the larger point. And the space now does that, and I can't see going back.